I said, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, that's better. Babu Chandran is always effused in this place. He said 100 not out. So I believe the match is over and we have won the match. Generally for a 1 hour talk, I take about 10 to 12 hours of preparation. Because I strongly believe, like the professor was teaching maths in a college, he was doing a very complicated sum. And after nearly half an hour, after so many steps, he turned to the class and asked, did you understand? Everybody was blinking. They said, whether you understood or not, I understood. So in any topic when I'm speaking, I always believe first I should understand well. So I have spent a lot of time in this. Generally my talk for about 1 hour, I prepare 10 to 12 hours. This time I made it a little more challenging because this topic, the idea came to me from Audit Intelligence. Most of the presentations when I get an idea, I ask one Baba, and the Baba is able to answer most of my questions and use the research from that and then go further. So I asked Google Baba because I got a request from ICAI 3 months back to write an article on technology. They didn't tell me what article. They said you can write down any topic related to technology. So I said let me find some new topic, and that's where I got this idea of audit intelligence, harnessing the power of audit intelligence in the era of information technology, in the era of artificial intelligence. I did spend 6 to 10 hours and I found I didn't have enough material because Google Baba did not help. When I asked for audit intelligence, it went in so many other directions which I was not sure what I wanted. So then I had to change the strategy for the article because they had to publish that article in September. You'll find that the article is on harnessing the power of data analytics for assurance and compliance. In fact, I recently did a recording of the 2-hour video where I also gave a demo, practical demo. It will be available on ICAI CP website probably in a week or 2. So this is a continuation of that. After that I said, now I need to, once I have taken it, I have to take it a challenge. Then I said that the idea was that what article I have already done, same material I am going to use for the further presentation. So the article went in a different direction, but this, now there are 2 options before me. One, continue in the same direction, speak on the same thing, data analytics. Then I said, no, I go back to the original topic, little bit more search, spent about 20-25 hours, and finally I got the idea which I want to convey. Generally when I give a talk, I have some parameters which I set, and one of the things is that I said any talk I give, it should be thought-provoking, it should be intellectually stimulating, it should be inspiring, it should be a call for action, it should be informative, it should be relevant, it should be practical. These are the 7 parameters. And at the end of it, whether you assess or not, I do the assessment, see where I have scored, how far I have scored. In this topic also I did a lot of research to come to this. Now at the end of this you should be able to come and make an assessment as to where I stand. I always believe that learning is fun, and I feel a lot of serious faces. So let's get started with the story and then I relate it to the technology. It said once a successful businessman was passing by to go to his office, and he found on the way there was a shop which was selling monkeys. Okay, this is not before PETA came in. So this shop used to sell monkeys, and this fellow initially got enamored with one monkey. He used to go and stand before the cage, and the monkey used to do a lot of gesticulations. He didn't understand. Finally, he hit upon one gesture, this one. The monkey used to do like this. He didn't know what it meant. He also used to do like this. So every day it became a habit for him while going and coming. He used to spend some time doing this to the monkey, and the monkey also used to do that. After some time he realized he became pals with the monkey, and this shop is selling monkeys. So it could be possible the monkey could be sold. So he went to the shopkeeper and asked him, sir, I would like to buy this monkey. The shopkeeper said, why only that particular monkey? Is there anything special? He said, no, we are pals, we communicate with each other. He said, I am in monkey business and I don't know monkey language fully. Can you tell me how you communicate? He said, the monkey does like this, I also do like this. He said, sir, I am in the business of selling, I'll definitely sell this monkey to you. But I just wanted to get one thing clear. In monkey language, this means go to hell. And this fellow got annoyed. He said, this monkey was always fooling around with me for so long. So he said, I'm going to teach this monkey a lesson. So he went back home and thought after a long time he came with an idea. So one day when the businessman was not around, shopkeeper, he took a knife, slid it below the cage, and he took the second knife. He took that razor marked there on the cage. The monkey also took the razor marked on the cage because monkeys imitate. He took the razor and marked it like this. Like that he was doing multiple times. Now he knew he was getting the monkey into the trap. He took the razor, took it near the neck and made a mark like this. The monkey dropped the razor and did like this. Now who is the monkey? Technology is the monkey. We believe we are the businessmen, we are sharp, we are intelligent, we understand everything. But you don't know that the monkey is also learning. It's like, you remember long back there was a monkey, there was a short story about the the monkey and the cap seller. So once the cap seller was selling caps, and he fell asleep under a tree. And when he woke up, he found all the caps are gone because the monkeys were in it. And then he remembered, monkeys imitated. So he took his cap and put it on the ground. The monkeys also put it on the ground. Then he gathered all of them and ran away. After 20 years, the son of this cap seller incidentally also became a cap seller. He came to the same place and he found when he woke up, all the caps are gone. But he remembered the story his father had told him. So he took his cap and put it on the ground and looked around. A little monkey came, took that cap and went away. And this fellow said, what happened? And the little monkey said, you fool, my father also told me the same story. In technology, we believe our past is going to be our knowledge. It's going to be useful. But you should remember, quite often, the past knowledge becomes a baggage. We need to learn afresh. We need to think afresh. And this is all about artificial intelligence, data analytics, and we're looking at in terms of audit intelligence. When I'm relating this audit intelligence, audit is a part of our DNA. Any chartered accountant knows that audit is a part of your DNA. I've taken so many DSA classes. One of the first experiments this one asked is, okay, what is audit? Then I explain to them what is IS audit and relate to them. We found we have a hazy picture of what audit is all about. We can do audit. It's a part of our DNA. But we can't explain. Similarly, ask them what is control. We have a general idea, control, security, all those things. But we don't have a clear perspective. Now in this presentation, what I would like to do is give you a clear perspective of what audit intelligence is all about. So we can get things in perspective. If you look at the younger generation, most of them talk through the mobile. If you look at the older generation, most of us talk through the mobile. Okay, most of us, we talk through the mobile, but you look at the younger generation, for example, if you ask my son, he'll only talk, but if you ask him something, he says, open Swiggy, open this website, do this, all the things he does, we're talking to the mobile. And that's where the technology is going. If you look at artificial intelligence, knowing or unknowingly, most of us are using it. Now, if you open, right from the beginning, let's say as soon as you open your mobile, you use WhatsApp, you use Gmail, anything you use, there is a data analytics. There is an artificial intelligence which is built in. Now the beauty is, the mobile, the apps which are there, they are learning every day. Now we need to ask, are we learning every day? And that's the message which I want to start. So the focus of the topic you see here, harnessing the power of audit intelligence in the era of artificial intelligence. The topic is emerging technologies. Now the question is, have they emerged technologies or are they emerging technologies? Now we know that in technology, we are always in a transition. Technology keeps on evolving, keeps on emerging, keeps on disrupting, keeps on dismantling the existing things. If you look at the OYOs and the Ubers and the Olas and the Flipkart, just look at Flipkart, they got a valuation of $40 billion. Do you think physically if you go and make a valuation, what is the value of the fixed assets they have or the goodwill they have? They may not be even 1 billion, but still they got the valuation of $40 billion for what? For the intelligence which is embedded in the information systems they have. There are so many others also, but they have an information system which has embedded intelligence, which has been built over a period of time. They have got data, massive amount of data. Why Facebook, WhatsApp, everything is given free? Because for them, the most important asset is data. And data is the new oil. And for harnessing that oil, and that's where they say now, data is being weaponized. Data which is gathered from you is weaponized and used against you. You go to one website, search for something, 10 days you keep on getting messages, advertisements about that particular person. So which means they're making much more money than what they're actually giving you through this particular service. So as chartered accountants, it becomes very important that we are not taken for a ride. We have enough understanding of technology. I was reading a book on future of profession, which talks about, as professionals, we believe we are all experts. And we have a special body of knowledge, which takes years to gather. And that cannot be acquired by machines. The beauty is, the machines have also started to learn. And it's important that we should also learn. Now we are also learning. Most of our learning has been focused on interpretation of law. The major areas, if you look at GST compliance, assurance, anything we have, most of it is a part of our DNA. We know how to do it and we get it done. Now the question is not about getting things done, it's about making things happen. In the case of technology, we need to understand how technology works. So we need to have understanding of the functioning aspect of technology, not necessarily the technical aspect of technology. These are the four broad areas I would like to focus on. Artificial intelligence, what is the impact on data analytics and audit? We know most of us use data, and you know with the data that you're putting on Facebook. In fact, you'll be surprised to know the US department uses Facebook data to identify whether the return quarter you have filed is correct. How? You have claimed so many expenses, they identify, okay, whether you claim you have gone for a foreign trip, put all your photos, so whether it's a business trip or a personal trip, they can make out based on the photos you put. Okay, so they do that harnessing of that particular information. In India also, I am told many bank managers, before giving a loan, they use they scan your social media to check. You say, sir, loan kodakagala, business problem, everything. Then they look at Facebook and say, yes, sir, you have gone to this foreign trip recently to Europe and this one. Okay, so the whatever you put on this on social media is being tracked and trapped. So the second part is audit intelligence and the data analytics. What are the key features and functions? It is not necessary that you should become a data scientist. I'll also give you a brief distinction between data scientist and data analytics. You can read more of that in my article which I have written in CA Journal, which published in September 2018. Then we look at some practical case studies. I will look at three key aspects. Generally from a holistic perspective in terms of what is this data analytics all about, what are the functions and how it can be used. And we'll also look at, okay, now we have all done, how do we enhance our competencies and skills to remain relevant. These are the four broad things we need to talk about. First thing, we need to ask and clarify these fundamental questions to ourselves and ask the 6 key questions. If you look at audit, we need to ask, okay, what is that audit we are doing? Why are we doing this audit? How are we doing this audit? Who requires this audit? When do we require this audit? I have come across many cases where you call it as, sorry for using this term, you call it as chapa audit. Okay, you come across tax auditors and that guy keeps telling me, sir, I have to pay 1.5 lakh rupees for this and this fellow spends only 2 hours and then finally what I get is only chapa. Like you get the power of attorney, you go to power of attorney, somebody puts chapa and sign and then you get the money. Sir, what is the use? Why should we do this? Now we know we can definitely provide much more valuation and that's what we need to look at. So we need to look at intelligence from a different perspective. We also look at audit intelligence. Artificial, we know what is this one, manual, what is intellectual. Now we also need to know what is artificial. Recently there was one game which was played by AlphaGo and the human player was playing was an expert. He had so much pride that no machine can beat me. And he got beaten first time and for him he said maybe fluke. Second time he played much more vigor and he was beaten again. He said no, I think this fellow is quite sharp. Third time he played, he brought one of his best moves and the machine which came with a counter move was much better than him. And this was the thought, machines are not creative, it will go mechanically in a particular way. And he was amazed, this was much better than thinking of human. So he is able to creatively learn. And that's what machines are getting better. As auditors, we need to be technology driven. There is no doubt. Okay, now the question is whether you are driven or we drive. That's an option we have. We need to provide IT enabled services. The traditional way of audit can continue. In the future of the profession, we talked about there are 2 paths. The one path is, assumption is, the traditional CES will continue in their own way, will have incremental growth, will continue to do what we are doing because still there will be GST filing, still there will be income tax filing, still there will be some consulting, you can continue to do that, you can continue to do incremental growth. Okay. So you can have growth in arithmetic progression. The second thing is if you want to have growth in geometric progression, if you want to look at how you can progress in a much bigger way, then you have to look at how you can harness the power of technology. And that's going to be the key differentiator between people who will continue to survive or thrive or lead. There's a change. People who change, after the change, survive. Those who change with the change will thrive. But those who cause the change will lead the change. If you look at the technology professionals, the BEs who came from so many colleges from across India, they've been able to go at the core of the technology and they've been able to provide solutions. Chartered accountants, we have much more intellectual power, but we have not harnessed the power of technology, and that's what we need to look at. And most important is, if you look at technology, technology works in a particular way. It is process driven, it is system driven, and we are best in understanding systems. So we need to see how we can implement those systems and ideas using technology. In most of the cases where technology is used, you find there is a business process involved, there is a control involved, there is an audit structure, there is a regulatory requirements. All these have to be inbuilt inside the information system. And as chartered accountants, we have the domain knowledge and expertise. And that's what we need to focus on. How can we provide this expertise to the business community, to the enterprises? And most important, whatever services we provide, can we automate this process? This is what we need to look at. Can you tell me what you see here? Can you make out? Okay, let me show this. This is what you see. How many of you could see this? Could guess this? What does it say? It says that you always need to learn to see the big picture. A big picture always helps in understanding enterprises better. An auditor has to be better at the business of the client than the client himself. That's the expectation which Roundabout wrote long back, 30 years back, when he talked about auditors. So auditor has to move from being a fault finder to being a business advisor. We talk about being business advisors. We cannot be business advisors unless we know how to use technology. Now with this background, let's get moving and look at artificial intelligence. My presentation has two aspects. One aspect I'm going to talk about the concepts which I want to bring down and tell you, okay, this is what artificial intelligence is all about, this is what data analytics is all about, this is how audit intelligence is all about. And the second part is where I want to show practically. Okay, let's pick up a business case. Okay, I got sales data, I got a purchase data, I got some payroll data. Okay, how to audit? What are the things I can look at? And using technology, how can I do this? This is what I would like to focus on. This is a recent survey which was done by Gartner. It talks about 10 strategic technology trends which is going to happen in 2019. And if you look at the top, you find most of the important thing which is happening is augmented analytics. You have heard about data analytics. What is augmented analytics? Augmented analytics is when human intelligence is combined with artificial intelligence, machine intelligence to actually augment a particular person and provide better services. For example, artificial intelligence has advanced to such a state where they say if you have to scan, let us say the what is it called, retina scanning or this an eye scan for finding out cataract, the machine is able to get that particular this one right compared to the human being. Okay, let's say human being, let's look at the particular scan, he is able to do at a particular rate and he is able to do with 70% accuracy. The machine is able to do at 90% accuracy. So the machine can go up to one particular level and say there is a problem, cataract defect in this particular eye, in the scan. But the human intelligence can complement and say what can happen further. In data analytics also the system can analyze and give you information. But how to draw inference and convert it to practical actionable insights, this way a person with the human intelligence is required. And that's where the skill can be relevant. And these are the chartered accountants who are going to lead the change. Now you have to decide whether you're going to be a follower or you're going to be a leader. The second thing is about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has become pervasive. Not only pervasive, it has become invasive. If there is one device, which I say I take it from you for one day, how much are you prepared to take for this? You find there's one device you don't want to leave. Because right from the day, when you get up in the morning, long back, remember, first thing we used to do when we get up in the morning is to switch on the radio, the last thing is switch on the radio. Now the radio is gone. What do you have? You have the mobile. First thing to do is see the mobile, WhatsApp, so many things. And again, the last thing you see is the WhatsApp. What are this one? So it means you're both so much addicted to the mobile. In fact, the mobile technologists have understood that tomorrow there will be some regulations, and now they're able to give you how many times did you open that mobile, how many hours, how many times you're seeing a day. And they're trying to put in control, saying that at least you get an idea about this one. Okay, that's what is going to happen. So technology becomes a slave, initially starts as a slave, then becomes a master. Now it is important that you don't become addicted to technology. You know how to use technology as required. Now this is about talks about artificial intelligence. From the book I talked about future of profession. Machines are becoming increasingly capable and taking on more and more tasks that were once exclusive province of human professionals. Now this will lead to steady decline of traditional flesh and blood professionals. This is what is going to happen. And this calls for fundamental rethinking on the future of white-collar work of professionals. The days of the trusted auditor, okay, trusted advisor. We said we went to CA because there is trust. Okay, they say recipients of professional service are in fact seeking reliable solutions or outcomes rather than trusted advisor per se. They're not looking at this one. Okay, what they're saying is in the future, when the standard output becomes standardized, Like we have online service which has got a very good branding, which got level service. You find that the clients are happy with that type of assurance also. So technology is the main driver for change. If you look at the change, some examples, more people signed up for Harvard's online course in a single year than who attended the actual university course in 377 years of its existence. So one online course, lakhs of people attended. Okay. In the legal world, they said 3 times more disputes are resolved on the eBay compared to all the cases that are filed in the US court system. And if you look at another aspect, on 6th birthday, Huffington Post got more unique visitors on a monthly basis compared to all the visitors on the website of New York Times, which is supposed to be more than 165 years old. What does it show? With technology, you can make rapid strides. You can grow in geometric progression. Now let's look at some more aspects from the technology point of view, from the legal perspective. The British tax authorities use a fraud detection system that holds more data than the British Library, which has all the books which are ever published in the UK. You also now you get CD. Now you don't have CD also, you can download the software where you get all the books which you had now, legal this one. Now everything is available in one small this one, online. In 2014, this is interesting, US tax authorities received electronic tax returns from almost 48 million people, and this is November 2014, who had used online tax preparation software rather than a tax professional. Okay, that's what is happening. In India, there are a lot of websites. I am not giving the name of the website. If you go to the website, check for online filing, you find online filing facing a rapid increasingly. They call it now CA assisted, just to make it this one. How far CA is involved, we'll come to that a little later. CA assisted tax filing planned by ABC. This is trusted by 25 lakh Indians to file their taxes, which means there are people who are filing, 25 lakh people are filing their returns online without the assistance of CA. Now they say CA assisted, this is brought in recently. Why? Because still in India we have that mindset CA can give advice. So what they do, they'll assign it to a particular CA. We don't know whether a CA, he'll interact with you and get the details and ensure that it's fine. Okay. Now you can just imagine the client comes to you directly, how much fees you're going to charge, and if the client is forwarded by this particular by this online site, where they tell you for salary they charge 799. For a business, if you're doing this particular thing, capital gains 6,500 rupees. If you got capital gains 3,500 rupees. If you are a CA assisted also, out of 3,500 rupees, how much is going to give you? Okay, so that's what is going to happen. So here, if individuals file their tax returns online via their website, all a user has to do is to upload the Form 16 PDF, and the ABC software prepares the tax return instantly and automatically. It is basically a technology company that happens to be in the tax space. And this is started by 3 people who are non-CS. And that's the way they have been growing. Now okay, just imagine what's happening. As far as you're concerned, these new clients are supposed to come to you. Many of them are new generation are going online. So now with this basic background, let's get started and look at what is artificial intelligence. Computers with the ability to mimic or duplicate the functions of the human brain. The key differentiator between human beings and machines was human beings can learn. They have learnability. That's the key distinction. Whereas programs, if you have a structured way of doing things and you routinely put that in a particular structure and system, the computer will continue to do the same thing. In the case of artificial intelligence, you find computers are able to learn. They also got standard of learnability. So what is artificial intelligence system? The people, procedures, hardware, software, data and knowledge needed to develop computer systems. So Babu Jandan will cover this in detail. I just wanted to give you the background of the landscape. Now let's look at intelligence, which is supposed to be the key distinction between human beings and others. So they say intelligence is a very general mental capability that among other things involves the ability to reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly, comprehend complex ideas, learn quickly, and learn from experience. Now take each of these parameters and apply to artificial intelligence to the machines. You find the machines can beat human beings hands down. The ability to comprehend, for example, you have got 3 lakh cases which you would like to read. Now the machine can go through that 3 lakh cases probably in about 10 to 12 hours and come out with the gist of that particular thing and tell you who and this one for what are the cases now. Humans will not be able to do that. So that there are also books which the machines can read and give you a gist of that particular book. Okay, there are online translation systems where it will hear you and online immediately translate that that particular language. So machines have definitely bigger capabilities and they are learning in a bigger way. Now let's look at our professions. We have got specialized intelligence. What is specialized intelligence? Ability to effectively address well-defined specific goals in a given environment. Kind of task-oriented intelligence that's part of many human jobs. Now in this also, in the past several years, machines have become quite proficient in handling a variety of specialized intelligence tasks. I think later on when you have robotic process automation, you also find that machines can do what human beings are doing in complex that take 30 minutes, you can do in 30 seconds. And that's what is possible. And these are not routine jobs. These are jobs which have to look at ad hocs and multiple tasks, multiple things. So now with this background, let's look at quickly snap down and look at what is artificial intelligence all about. Now this gives you what is artificial intelligence all about, why it matters, where it is going. Babu will cover this in much more detail. And now look at machine learning. Now this looks surprising, machine learning. We thought human learning, now we talk about machine learning. We also have deep learning. And AI technology that enables systems to learn without being programmed. This is what the key. So you don't program explicitly saying this is what we want the machines to do. Machine learning pushing the innovation boundaries across all industries from healthcare to financial services. Now look at the research which is being done in the latest on this particular topic. Interestingly, now this is a publication by ICAI which talks about global perspective insight, and they brought in two-part publication to talk about what is artificial intelligence, what is the impact on the accounting profession and the auditing, and how we can evolve, how we can adopt this artificial intelligence. So they say the audit is changing and how accountancy can thrive in the age of artificial intelligence, and that's what is important. So if you look at broadly what artificial intelligence in accounting is all about, is moving beyond compliance. Because compliance is something which is built inside the system. The controls are built inside the system. They say AI in accounting will rapidly move from a tool of compliance and towards the delivery of advice. That's what human beings are best about, because we can understand the problem, look at it from different perspectives and give a solution or advice. But we'll never replace a human accountant. And that's the good news about it. AI is on the purpose of moving the administrative tasks and rapid development to made in 2019. AI will provide suggestions to accountants instead of driving compliance. Which means what suggestions you are giving, the machines will give you the advice. So you can work on that advice and further refine it and give it to the client. So it means you can augment, that's where we talk about augmented intelligence. AI will progress beyond showing your anomalies and develop new abilities to focus on accounting and business issues, which could be more problematic. So to summarize all the discussion we had so far, machines with program intelligence. This is what we had. Now in AI we have machines which can program themselves. The key distinction is we have information which is synthesized, which is analyzed, and we are able to reason and come to a conclusion. And this is all artificial intelligence is all about. Now how do you keep yourself up to date? I remember a story which was narrated by Guru Acharya here for a student when he was talking. He said a young man wanted to climb a mountain, and he's sitting below and thinking how to climb that mountain, because he wanted to go to the mountain and the exercise and also to get a beautiful view. He was still sitting and contemplating. He found an old man had already climbed the mountain and coming down, and he's happily singing. And this fellow, a young man, went to the old man and asked him, "Sir, how is it at your age you are able to climb and come down so fast?" The old man said, "Young man, let me give you one simple advice. First, send your mind. The body will follow." So what is important is, if you want to learn artificial intelligence or any technology, it's important that you send your intentions first. Then your intellect will follow. And this is what is sum and substance of what artificial intelligence is all about. Now let's get into the audit intelligence and data analysis. So what you see here, this is the picture which I took from the ICAI conference. They're doing a conference on blockchain, and this I picked up from their website. Okay, this quote is mine. Technology handicap is the headwinds which constrain the current generation of CAs. We can progress much more, but if you look at when you're flying, they say something about the headwinds and the tailwinds. Okay, the headwinds which are coming from the front, they constrain you from going at a faster pace. The engine has to consume much more oil. Okay, the technology handicap is like that, headwind for the CAs. But if you're able to take this further, they say techno literacy will be the tailwinds, which push you or propel you or empower new generation CAs to new orbit as professionals. We can definitely get into new orbit, and that's what is possible. Now with this background, let's look at what is the audit body of knowledge. I'm not going to get into theory of what audit is all about. Audit is all in your DNA. I just want to give you a landscape of what, when you say audit, what is that be the body of knowledge? What is it which encompasses? You start with the audit charter, where the management says this is what we want to audit for, what is the purpose, what is the mission, what is the authority, responsibility, accountability, etc. Then based on that, you do it internally, externally. You have your audit scope and objectives, and every audit has got a deliverable, and there is a period within which you have to do. There is a period for which the audit applies, and there are guidelines and deadlines within which you have to finish it. There are various standard guidelines, procedures, frameworks which you use for the purpose of audit. You plan for the particular audit, you prepare detailed program, procedures, you have the audit, you follow a standard approach, you have audit quality, you can also use audit software, do the documentation, and these are all the various things you do. Now what is important to remember is, if you are adopting a system-oriented approach, if you have to audit in a process-oriented approach, for example, if you are auditing Flipkart, or if you are auditing Amazon, or if you are auditing Oyo, now the traditional method of audit really doesn't apply. That's what Babu was talking about. Your sampling approach doesn't really work. Now you need to adopt a holistic approach where you can actually use technology itself to query 100% of the data and find out the exceptions. Later on, when I show the practical demo, I'll show you how that is possible. We actually did it for one e-commerce company. Now if you look at assurance, when we provide assurance, these are the basic components. I'm looking from a macro perspective. Your three-party relationship, who are the three parties will look at it. There is a subject matter which is being audited. There is a particular criteria which I adopt. For example, if I'm doing tax audit, there is a tax, income tax. If I'm doing GST audit, there is a GST. Okay, if I'm doing company audit, there is a Companies Act. There is execution for the particular audit, the process I follow. Based on that, there is a conclusion, which means there is an audit report which is delivered to the customer, to the client. So if you look at the 5 components of assurance initiative, this is what you got. You have got a three-party relationship, a responsible party, an assurance person, and subject matter. And there is an intended recipient for this audit. You also have subject matter, which the assurance is going to be provided on. It could be the data which is there, it could be the information system, or it could be the process. Depending what will be the type of audit, finally this is the subject matter of any audit. Okay. And there is a suitable criteria which is going to be adopted for the purpose of audit. It means you use certain standards, framework, guidelines, and the criteria to do the audit. And that the process as an audit should follow. Now this is where the problem is. Now do we follow a standard structured process while doing the audit? Most of the cases I found, I may be wrong, most of the auditors, especially at the senior level, we are, what do you call it? Side drivers. No? We sit at the side. We are not actual drivers. Okay. So we delegate and we believe that person has done, and what is there we look at ad hoc, and based on that we formulate a judgment. There is a lot of risk which we are taking by doing that. So what is important is that we need to establish a process, ensure that process is followed. You cannot drive the particular audit unless you know how to drive the system yourself. So it means you have to understand the technology, you have to understand the system, you have to understand the business process, and based on that you come to the conclusion. In most of the cases, the compliance-oriented audit becomes much more simpler or easier because there is a particular standard report, and we have to give the report as per the standard format. But in the case of internal audit or information systems audit, the standard report doesn't apply. So if you look at the relationship in the assurance initiative, now you got suitable criteria, and you got the stakeholder, responsible party, and the assurance process, and you find each of these are related. Now it gives you that the stakeholder responsible or manages business process, the responsible party, the accountant or CFO who is there, is manage the subject matter, and the assurance personnel use the assurance process to audit the subject matter. Now the most important thing is this: the assurance professional, what is the process he follows to audit the subject matter? For example, if you are doing tax audit, and if the client is using online software like Zoho or any other software, okay, does your process change? If the client is using an ERP software or any Tally software, any other software, does your audit process change dynamically in tune with the change? And that's what is important. So finally, you are going to come to a conclusion. Now the conclusion is, are you able to provide better assurance with a greater assurance to yourself? And that's what is required. So if you look at the assurance component, this gives a broader overview. You got this three-party relationship. You perform this one based on scope and objectives. There is a subject matter and there is suitable criteria. You execute the audit and you communicate and provide the conclusion for the audit. So there are 3 stages which is expanded. Now whether if you look at IT audit, you establish the IT assurance universe, which means what are the universe which you are auditing. Establish the IT control framework. Perform the risk-based audit, because you know you cannot do all the areas of audit. You identify which are the high risk areas and focus on that. And based on that you do analytical review, and then you get into the detail as required. Whenever you're doing audit, it's important that you understand the business goals, the IT which is used, how IT is being used, what are the key processes which are run through IT, and then based on that come to a conclusion. Use the technology itself for the purpose of doing the audit. They say this is an era where we are flooded with data but starving for information. So you have data everywhere. Now the question is, what is the approach to audit this digital data? Most of the data is available digitally. What is the approach to audit this digital data? And what are approach to we are following now. We need to ask. Recently I read a book, there's a better way to live. So based on that I got this idea. Is there a better way to audit the digital data using technology? Definitely there is a way. Now the question is, do we know the way? If you use Google Maps, if you look at the Google Map approach, Google Maps can provide you direction which no human being can provide. Why? Because right there at the top. Okay, not only that, he can navigate, he can know the complete distance. Not only that, he also knows the traffic on the way. Okay, and he's got the complete distance. Based on that, he can use the best path. And dynamically, based on the need, he changes. Based on the data parameters, he changes and gives you the advice. Now, can he do? So similarly, if you got data, that data, whatever be the information system is being used, we are finally auditing the data and the information system. Do we know how to audit this particular information system? The good news is there is definitely a better way. And there is a better way to provide assurance, to ensure compliance, provide value addition, be more productive, be more effective, and also complete the assignment in a much more time-limited manner. If you know how to use technology, what was taking manually, let's say 10 man days, can be done in 10 hours. I've done it practically. For example, in one case, we had to do a data migration audit for a client, for a CA firm, we associated with them, and they said that it's going to take 30 days to do this. This one. So we said using data analytics software we can do much more faster. And the existing software, the data is converted and given using data analytics software. We said this is the data available. Again, when they ported it into the new system, we got the particular data and used the software, data analytics software, made a comparison and found out what are the errors. Based on that, it was rectified. Again, we got the data. So like this, we went into multiple iterations, and based on that, the data was actually converted. So they wanted conversion in 2 phases, and we were able to do that probably in about 2 days. Which manually, if you have to do, looking at the 10,000, 15,000 accounts, and probably about 5 lakh transactions, it would not have been humanly possible. And that's possible using technology and data analytics software. What do the professional institutes say? So if you want to adopt the better way, which I was talking about, they say the Chartered Institute of Internal Auditors came out with a publication on data analytics. Now the question is, what do they say? Is it time to take the first step? And that's the question which I'm asking you. Is it time to take the first step? Now this is a research which they said finally, assurance professionals must be ahead of the curve in implementing data analytics as an assurance imperative to improve effectiveness of deliverables and provide value addition. And this is what they say finally, as auditors we need to get into this. Now let's understand from this background, what is data analytics all about? Is it a complex science? So you find it's nothing but a collection of tools, techniques and best practices to access and analyze digital data. That's what we're doing in data analytics. Data analytics empowers professionals to access 100% of the data and to analyze data as per the scope and objectives of the assignment. Whether I'm doing audit of tax or GST or company or whatever be the type of audit, internal audit or the business process, any area, primarily I'm looking at accessing the data, analyzing the data based on the criteria which are set and coming to a conclusion. What the management wants is an assurance whether the controls are available, adequate and appropriate. Okay, based on the scope, based on the suitable criteria they have established. And that is possible using data analytics. So if you look at the bottom line of data analytics, it involves real application of thought to data, which means we need to apply thought to the data, and then based on that we should be able to infer insight from information. So this way we're talking about augmented intelligence. We are applying thought to the digital data using technology and coming out with inferences. How is it practically possible? I'll show you a little later examples. So what is data analytics? It's not some esoteric, highly expensive software. Even Excel can be used as a data analytics software. Even general audit software are available, which is an add-in to Excel, which I'll show you a demo a little later. You also general audit software is a data analytics software. Your application software, for example, Tally if you're using, Tally itself has various reporting and query features and audit features which you can use for the purpose of audit. Okay. You also have specialized audit software. For example, if you're auditing Finacle. Finacle itself has got some various features for the purpose of auditing. Recently, I read a report by RBI which has given direction to all the banks that they have to establish control centers. What does the control center do? The control center has a set of parameters, let's say 30 or 40 parameters to the control aspects, which will be run online concurrently on the system. Based on that, they get the information. In the control room, they decide, okay, what are the exceptions, what is allowed, what is not allowed, or this one, and then take decisions. So what you're doing as balance sheet audit, they say it's going to phase away. Instead of that, what we have as balance sheet audit, probably it's a misnomer, it's actually loan documentation and verification audit. So that's what we're doing. So that loan, the documentation verification audit may survive only at that. But balance sheet audit, we are not really looking at aspects of balance sheet. Because most of the things, even concurrent audit if you see, is not done so concurrently as done in the online software. And that's what the RBI is pushing most of the banks to do. They say most of them now are using core banking solution. If you are using a core banking solution, you need to have a control center where you have a team of 20, 30 professionals. They are also given a set of guidelines which they have to adopt. Based on that, immediately they dynamically get that information. And that's what is happening. So using data analytics in audit planning, this gives you an example where all things you can use. You can use to prepare the list of the specific objectives, when to do the audit, define the period, define the source and format of the data. This is important. You need to understand what is the architecture of the data. Where is this data available? How is the data accessed? How is the data generated? Who processes data? Who can access this data? And that's what is important. For example, in case of Tally, okay, who enters the particular data? How can I get the data? What are the way I can extract the data? Similarly, if they're using online software or ERP software. So fundamentally, it's all about, if you look at computers, there are only three terminologies, IPO. IPO is input, processing and output. So you need to understand what are the ways in which the input can be done, what are the way processing of information is done, and how the output is generated. Based on that, you can do your audit planning. This is the publication by IASB, which they talk about what are the impact of data analytics, what are the stages in which data analytics can play a role, and this is what they're talking about. They say data analytics can be used for risk assessment, can be used for doing the article procedures, can be used for substantive testing, or they can also be used for compliance testing of test of controls. So it means in all phases of audit, data analytics can be used. If I have to summarize all the discussion I had about data analytics, this I said is the 7 sutras of data analytics. And if you combine the audit intelligence principles, this I came with this idea, and this is what you are about. Finally, any assurance you do, if you have to use audit intelligence principles, you need to understand the stakeholder requirements. What does the enterprise want? What do the stakeholders want? Follow the holistic and structured process. Whatever be the technology, there is a standard process you can follow, which will be change. You have to adopt the dynamic and systematic approach depending on the need of the assignment. For example, the approach to audit for a client who is using Tally, and compared to the client who is using an ERP software, or compared to the client who is using a, let's say, online software, has to be different. That has to be dynamically adopted. And ensure distinction of, this is what is important in data, especially in enterprise data or digital data. Who is governing the system? Who is controlling the system? What are the risks and what are the compliance and how this has been built in? You need to get the distinction very, very clear. Governance is all about giving direction. For example, a company has got a contract for cutting trees in a forest. Okay. Now the company has got that and they deploy the people. And the managers get busy in saying, okay, allocate this and these are the people who are going to get, these are the tools. All this is done. Okay, there's one gentleman who say, this is the right jungle. Okay, only then the forest cutting, tree cutting, everything has stopped. And so on. Okay. The captain of the ship is the one who decides where the direction has to be. Like I said, it's not about the speed, it's about the direction. So it's all about where your compass is showing, which direction is showing. So in the case of assurance also, it's very important to know, okay, who is controlling the system, what is the direction in which the enterprise strategy is as far as the information technology is concerned, how controls are embedded and inbuilt into the system, what are the type of risks is the enterprise taking. A few years back I was doing consulting for a company and they will decide to go in for an ERP system, online ERP system, and after about spending 6 hours, I realized that this one company has taken a big risk. And just by asking about 6 to 8 questions, the MD decided that I think this is not the right choice we made. But having invested, they went ahead, and after 3 years recently I met one consultant who was doing implementation for them. They're using Tally, they went into an ERP software called Ramco, and then after 3 years, after spending about 40 to 50 lakhs, I came to know that once again they're getting into Tally. So this is what I suggested 3 years back. In your case, for your type of operations which you have, business operators, business strategy, everything, Tally with some customization is more than enough. Is that the MD got infatuated and no, we want to buy the most expensive software, we can get dynamic reports, all those things. He spent 3 hours, wasted 3 years, and then spent so much money and then they got into this. So as CAs we can get into the consulting or advisory role and tell the enterprise what is the solution for them. Customize as per the business process. Whatever entity you're auditing, you need to customize it as per the business process, the regulatory requirements, the organizational structure, and the technology to deploy. You need to deliver standard deliverables. Okay, there is a standard system. Especially in IT-enabled services, it's important that you know what is the deliverable, what is the scope, what are the objectives. Okay, what are the timeline with which you are going to deliver. Because lots of areas it could be vague. For example, application audit. What is an application audit? Are we covering PCP in that? Are we covering data migration? So you have to be very clear about what is the specific scope, how you are going to audit, and then you have to give the proposal. In most of the cases, if you look at IT audit, most of you could be DSAs. How many of you are DSAs? Okay, so this is an opening. Probably you should also look at exploring DSA. What I found in the case of DSA is they've done the DSA course, but still I found many of them not know how to get to an IT audit proposal also. They don't know how to give a proposal. And most of the proposals, a friend of mine who recently passed DSA and is very enthusiastic, he keeps on getting tenders and extends tenders to me. Then I told him, first look at the criteria. It's good that you have aspiration. First look at the criteria. Are you deserving before you desire? You have a lot of desires, but the question, are you deserving? When you look at the criteria, they say the firm should have 10 CSAs, they should have this experience, they should have done this, and they should pay paid. For the getting the application itself, they say 50,000 rupees. Okay, now you know that you are not currently in that particular phase. So you need to start small and then start gradually growing big. So it's important to know very clearly what are the deliverables, and you need to ensure that whatever is done is properly documented to ensure repeatability. So the bottom line is, you can do more in less time using data analytics. That's the core message which I want to convey, that when you're using data analytics, it's all about the 3 I's. Inferring insight from information. If you audited digital data, can you infer insight from that information? Can you provide ideas to the enterprise that this is what is possible, this is what they can accomplish? This is what you should be looking at. It said that in one of the companies, they wanted to hire a president because the recent president was retiring. So they did multiple rounds of interview, HR round, everything, and finally they found 2 guys who were of the similar type of qualification. And between them, they are not able to decide who is the right candidate. So they asked the chairman, sir, can you help us in resolving this paradox? Because they're not able to decide among the 2 who is fit to be the president. So the chairman said, why didn't you tell them that I would like to take them out for lunch? He took them out for lunch, came back within about 2 hours and said, you please dictate the, appoint this guy as the MD, president. This HR guys, other guys were surprised. Sir, we spent multiple rounds, so many hours discussing with them, interacting with them. Still we are not able to come because most of them we are not able to decide who is the right candidate. How did you decide? What did you do? He said, no, I just observed. I said, sir, what is that you observed that we could not observe? He said, when I went to the hotel, I ordered soup. The first guy put salt and pepper and then took the soup. The second guy tasted the soup and then put salt and pepper. Now who do you think the president advised to appoint as the president? The chairman advised. First guy and the second guy. Why? He said, I want somebody, when I am appointing the president, I want him to take decisions based on data, not based on his past prejudices or bias. Now this fellow, first fellow, he thinks soup means in hotel generally will always be less salt and he put that. Okay, I don't want him to, because this is a mental pattern he's got. Whatever he do, he's going to do in that way. So we want somebody who can assess the situation based on that, take decisions. Like Naramurthy said, no? He said everybody brings data for decision making. He said everybody has to bring data. In God we trust, rest bring data. Now let's look at quickly, I'll wrap up this with some case studies. Now let's look at, this also I'm looking from a macro perspective. If you look at statutory audit, fundamentally what is that we're looking at in statutory audit? You want to verify the compliance through analytics. This is what you look at. And then in the case of IT audit, we should be able to provide insight from the information which they got. And then in forensic audit, what is important is we should be able to connect the dots and find out what are the anomalies, what are the deviations, what has gone wrong. So if you're using Audit Intelligence as a roadmap, first thing you need to define for that assignment, what is the objective, what is the scope, what are the proposed deliverables and timelines. And based on that, we need to formulate the approach. And this will focus on what needs to be done and how it will be done. And the execution has to be clearly formulated. What type of tools are we going to use, what are the skills of the team set, team who is going to be deployed, and how are we going to execute that assignment. So I can tell you with a lot of confidence that when you have a digital environment, that you can do audit much more faster, much more better if you understand the technology, if you understand the underlying information systems. And then based on that, you should be able to give the report. What is the objective of the report? The management wants an assurance, and that's what you're looking for in the report. So, like I said earlier, if you're doing any assurance, fundamentally you have to understand these 4 things. What is the business process? What are the regulatory requirements, the compliance requirements? What is the organized structure? How is it organized? Because fundamentally we are all about segregation duties, who has got authority for what. And you're also looking at what is the technology which is deployed. And based on that, we should be able to use the right techniques, computers to audit tools and techniques or data analytics. If you look at any financial statement audit, okay, these are the 7 information criteria we have to look at. Okay, when you look at whether you need to look at data is complete, whether data is accurate, validity, authorization, these are some of the criteria which you do. So what are audit you're doing? You said these are the 7 sutras, these are 7 criteria which you're going to work on and see whether this meets this particular criteria. Okay, now if you look at what are the tools which are there in your armory to use this. Now you've got various types of tools which could be there. In technology, these are the different types of audit tests which can be used. You can use the limit test. What do the limit tests do? You look at transactions and saying whether they are within that particular limit. You look at the range test to check whether the transactions are within a particular range. You look at reasonable test. You look at duplicate, whether invoices are duplicate, whether customers are duplicate, PAN numbers are duplicate. For example, in the case of demonetization. Okay, demonetization was a good opportunity for the government, based on which they got a gold mine of information. They expected a windfall in terms of cash, they did not get, but they got a gold mine of information. Using that gold mine of information, they can harvest that information and keep on coming with more and more information. Okay. Now, people keep on criticizing, but they have the data because everybody who had put cash, they put that cash. Now the government has got the information as to us put how much cash. Now the question is doing the right data analytics. Now one of the problems or the dilemmas they're facing is, now we also got people who are very ingenious, who got multiple PAN numbers, multiple addresses. Now they're not able to relate that. That has become a big problem and that has become a big challenge. The income tax department in fact gave a tender to 2 big consulting firms and they gave them a competition saying that whoever gets maximum this one will also get additional fees. They already started that, they bought SaaS software spending crores of rupees and they're also putting a process oriented system so that they can harvest that particular data. This data harvesting, the government is not in a hurry. They can do, there's no problem. Whenever they ask, even after that particular time, you always have to give the answers. So data analytics is the answer. In fact, they're looking for CEs who can do this. But they found very limited CEs of that. In fact, I was told that when demonetization happened, the maximum number of revenue leakage was detected from Karnataka. You know what is the reason? Because the CA firm was involved in providing data analytics consulting to the income tax department in Karnataka. They did the data analytics and they were able to harvest this information based on the come out with various things. Exception. This gentleman has filed income tax return, whereas this one is paid only 10,000 rupees income tax. Now I found this guy got property of so much, he got this one like that, they got 6 sources of information, collated together, his income should have been more than 10 lakh rupees. And whereas he is paid 10,000 rupees income tax. I'm just giving this as an example. So using various types of examples, we can actually use this test depending on the need. So let's say we extend this further and look at in terms of ICFR. Now we have also got this, what is in US they call this SOX. Now here we call it ISO.
Internal control over financial.
We call it ICOFAR or something like that. No? So this is what they say. If you do here also, if you apply the audit approach, in all these things, it's basically the same. You plan the audit, develop the top-down approach. The fundamental difference in the case of systems-driven or technology-driven is you need to adopt a top-down approach. Okay, you need to test the controls. The test controls could be compliance controls or substantive controls. Identify the deficiencies. How will you identify deficiencies? If you use technology itself, you can access the particular data and find out the exceptions. And then based on that, you wrap the audit and give the report. So this gives you the details. I'll not get into the details. I'll make this presentation available to you. These are the different steps for audit. So if you look at IT audit, now here also I want to look at what is body of knowledge. What is special about IT audit? If you look at IT audit also, there is nothing great about IT audit. If you look at the task which an IT audit has to perform, he provides the audit services in accordance with IS audit standards. There is a framework. He executes a risk-based audit strategy, plans specific audits, and conducts the audit in accordance with IS audit standards, and communicates the audit result, and conducts the audit follow-up. So whatever be the type of audit, the process is the same. What are the knowledge which you expect from an IT auditor? This gives you a list of knowledge which is required. So if you are an expert in doing DSP audit, now you want to do IT audit, you need to know, okay, what is the additional knowledge which is required to perform being an IT auditor. So you find these are the things which are required. So based on this you can progress. This gives you, in general audit also you collect evidence. Audit this says the process of collecting and evaluating evidence. In the case of IT audit also you evaluate the evidence depending on the scope and objective of the audit. For example, if I am looking at application audit, I focus on application, specific application. I look at the controls at various levels, input, processing and output, and also in terms of access, and based on that I provide the report. Now if you look at a forensic audit or a fraud investigation audit, And they said this is a very lucrative position, and most of the banks now have gone in for what is called a fraud investigation audit or a forensic audit. Now what is required in this? In the case forensic audit, you need to establish facts. You have some hunches, and based on that you should be able to draw inferences. For example, in one of the cases where you're doing a forensic audit, this incident happened in a public sector company. They spent about 12 audit teams spending about 2 months to gather all the data, and based on that they were able to come out, and this is the amount of fraud, and this is the number of transactions that happened. They called on CA firm and they said, we want you to validate this data whether we have done correctly completely. Okay. And they said, we provide all the data, you have to go through all the data, like we will not give the report of the internal team, you have to do it independently, and then based on that we will validate. So that CA approached me and we said, we went to the team and we reviewed this one. I said, this can be done only if it is through a digital data, and we found data available digitally. Using this data which is available, we are able to complete this audit which is expected to be done in 3 to 6 months. We are able to do it in 3 to 6 days. Why? Because all the information is available digitally. We are able to access and find out all the exceptions. For example, this person has passed a transaction in his account. We are able to get the download all the bank statements of the bank and pick up all the statements which were the amount went to his account. So we are able to identify all the exceptions and find out the exceptions. So now let's come to the last part of the presentation. Now we know that data analysis is good, it is very useful. Now the question is, how do we adopt it? This is where I thought I'll give you a quick demo of the 20 top functions in data analytics. I'm not going to get into the details, I thought I'll adopt one different approach here. Okay. These are the distinct features of any data analytics if you're doing. First, you purify the data, which is called as curating. You profile the data, which means you get a macro perspective of the data. You analyze the data, and then you investigate further depending on the need, and then you document your process, document the audit. You also use various utilities and tools. This generally the various things which you do in a data analytics. Now let's say we have got this some process called column statistics. What is column statistics all about? Which means you should go to get for that particular data, what is the overall perspective of the data. Okay, how many rows are there, how many columns are there, how many blanks are there, so you should go to get the perspective. In Excel also, if you just select the column, it tells you what is the minimum, average, maximum, that's what it is. In data analytics software, just by running this particular feature, you should go to get that information. Okay, this gives you that information. This can be used for the concept of cutoff or completeness. You stratify numeric, which means what is that you're doing here? You're grouping the data based on a particular strata. So you can stratify the sales based on a particular category, based on the amount, based on the value, based on period, etc. And then you get the inference. You can also summarize the data based on the value. For example, what are the sales which are 1,000 rupees? What are the sales with 1,500 rupees? How many number of transactions happened? On what day they happened? You can summarize the data, and based on that you can get that information. For example, the income tax department is using this to find out how many number of times people have deposited cash in how many denominations. And what is the favorite denomination? You also have to summarize quick. This is what you can do. Then you have percentiles. Percentile is what you use in artificial intelligence also. You want to distinguish the data put into different buckets based on a percentage. Okay, what is the percent data which is 1 to 15%, 16 to 30%, 35, 31 to 45%. So you put the data based on particular category, based on the y-axis, based on the quantity in unit price, which are the percentage to which this particular one data belongs. You can also find duplicates in same row. What is it useful for? Now you got the maker and you got the checker. So is it possible the maker and checker are same? This is all you will be able to find out. Similarly, you got character caps, which means you got data which is in a character, which means you got alphanumeric. So in that alphanumeric, you should be able to find out are there gaps, are there duplicates. Similarly, you have same different. What is the concept of same different? It could be possible the vendor code and the material code is same, but the unit price is different. It could be possible that the name and the address is same, but the PAN number is different. Okay, or the name and the PAN is same, but the address is different. So this is the concept where it can be used. Now you got the salary, you got the employee name and the employee address, but his bank account is different. Now how is it possible that this fellow got multiple bank accounts? So like that you can find multiple aspects based on this. I'm just giving an idea that these are the techniques you can use. These are not very complex. You also have outliers. What are outliers? Data which is beyond a particular boundary. Okay, you got data. You want to find out what are the transactions which are 3 times the average. You want to find these are the outliers. then you'll be able to distinguish, find out okay, which are the outliers. You also have stratified random sampling. You do sampling, but you want to do sampling based on the strata of data. Which of the data is of a particular category. So high value you would like to pick up a higher number of sample, and lower value you would like to pick up on a lower basis. So in data analytics software you have ready-made examples for this. You can also do fuzzy match. What is fuzzy match? For example, narration is written multiple ways. Whatever way you write, for example, the name is written in multiple ways. Okay, first name, second name, all those things. Okay, or like one thing. We recently went to one Karnataka government undertaking. We found in that case they said so many places that the names are duplicate. The names are created duplicate. Why? Because they just add one E or I and then it becomes duplicate. Now using this fuzzy match, you can pick up all these cases where the slight difference is there. You can also do normalize the data using the fuzzy match. You can also find fuzzy match similar. These are different techniques which are available. You can also do sounds like what will be the name. For example, my name, let's say Rafeq. I spelled in multiple ways, RAFEQ, RAFEQ, RAFIQ, whatever the name is written. Now using the sounds like, you should be able to pick up all the cases where the names are same. Okay, you also have got cluster. So cluster sampling is where you look at, okay, all the transactions happened, can you put them in cluster and pick up that information? What are the cases where the sales of a particular value, rate, and the unit quantities of a particular rate? Okay, who is buying this? And this is what is done most of the cases in e-commerce, where they do what is called as cluster sampling or cluster analysis. Okay, you can also investigate, pick up MIs from data. You can also join between many cases you want to do analysis of data, and this data available in two places. You can join these two files, and based on that you can get the information and insight. For example, you got the sales and you got the authorization limit on the file. Okay, you would like to join these transactions and find out which are the transactions where the sales is greater than the authorization limit. You can pick up the exceptions directly. You can also do three-way matching. What is three-way matching? For example, you got the PO, you got the GRN, and you got the invoice value. You would like to ensure all the three are matched. If the data is available, you can use the system, join these three, do a three-way matching and pick up all the cases which are exceptions. The beauty of technology is it runs whatever is the number of transactions and then gives you the exceptions. So it's all about asking the right questions. You can do authentication check, where you can join the sales and the authorization limit and pick up all the limits, where all the transactions where the amount is beyond the limit. You can also compare files. For example, I got the sales files of let's say 2017 and 2018, and based on various parameters I would like to compare. What are the sales as per the salesman? What are the sales as per the customer? What are the sales as per the product? And I would like to compare both and find out the differences. Now this type of information is very, very valuable for the enterprise to take business decisions. So if you are doing an internal audit, you can use this concept. Or you can also do it as a part of the analytical review. Okay, you got the balance sheet, you would like to do analytical review of 2 years, the profit loss account of 2 years, and find out which are the exceptions. You can find out that. You can also append files. For example, I got payroll file of 12 months. I would like to combine all the payroll file which is in Excel into one file, and based on that I want to compute the salary for each of the employees, so that I can verify whether PF has been done correctly or TADS has been done correctly. I can append all the files, consolidate and get the report. This is what I said, append files you can also consolidate. You also have something called relative size factor. I'll explain this instead of explaining, I'll show it to you. So here there is a difference between the first highest and the second highest and the ratio between them. For example, if I am buying a particular product, the general price is let's say 1,000 rupees, and I find in one case I bought it for 11,000 rupees. Now that one extra which is entered by mistake or not, I don't know. Using the relative size factor, I can find out that particular exception. Because that product you bought for 1,000 rupees, 1,100 rupees, 1,500 rupees, 950 rupees like that, and one item is 11,000 rupees. So relative size factor will pick up that 11,000 and pick the second highest which is 1,200 and find out the difference and tell you this is the relative size factor. And you will be surprised. In Tally also, there is something called relative size factor. If you are not seeing, go and check that one. Okay, so you can find that to find out exceptions. So if you are doing a procurement analysis using the relative size factor, you can quickly pick out all the exceptions. Which are the cases where the entry has been done by mistake or to a fraud. Similarly, you got maximum variance factor. What happens in maximum variance factor? Maximum variance factor, you got the maximum price, the first highest, the lowest, and between the two you find out the difference. You also have quadrant analysis, which means you put the data in 4 quadrants and do the analysis. In terms of it could be low, low, it could be high, high, like that. You can do the analysis and based on that find out the differences. So it's all about finding out what? Applying thought to the data and finding out what are the differences. So let me just quickly show you some features. Now this is a data. I got a software. Yeah. It's 11:08, so I'll conclude by 11:20 because I started 1 minute later. Babu, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is, let's say I take a procurement. Now this is the data which I got in Excel is pertaining to procurement. Okay. Now I'd like to do what is called as the, which I told you is the latest size factor. So where is the latest factor? I go to relative size factor. This I'm demonstrating to you to just show that using data analytics software is not very complex. If you know how to use it, it becomes very simple. What is that? But you should know how to ask the right questions. What is the latest size factor which I want to work on? I want to work on the material code. Okay, and what is that I want to work? What is the value field? Is the unit price. That's all. There are two ticks I have to select. I have to do. And what are the results I want? I want in ascending or descending. I want in descending. Let's see the result and see what we'll get. Now this particular file has, let's say, more than 2000 set of data, and this is the result we got. What do we get here? At one glance, it has gone through all the 2000 items. Based on tells you this particular price code 462. The first maximum price 167. The second, this one is 17, and the variance is 150. Latest is factor is 10. Okay, second item 1006. Second is 190. It gives you the variance. Like that, it gives you for all the items. It picks up the variance. Now, how did we get this particular idea? Now, we are doing audit of this one, the supplier for one e-commerce company, and they had about 9 lakh data for 9 months. They wanted to find, one of the requirements for the internal audit was find out all the purchases which are beyond the purchase policy. Okay, so they make purchases for so many times, they want to check. So what did that lady do? Was doing this particular audit. They did a pivot table. Based on the pivot table, they extracted, and then based on that, they're sorting and then getting that information. So for doing about 100 items, it took 3 days. So when we went there as consultant for them, we went to understood the problem. Then they said it can be simply done in this way. Now using this, they had about 9 lakh items. We were able to do it. We said we need a good processor. They gave a good system, and based on that, we were able to do in 1 hour. Which means all the 9 lakh transactions, we were able to do internal audit, find out the price variance in 1 hour, and that's what is the power of the software. Now same thing. Let me do the same thing and do it for maximum variance factor. Now here also, if you see. Now what is it I am going to select here? I am going to select the material code. Next, what I have to select? I have the unit price, and I say OK. Now you see, here I got the result based on the maximum variance factor. So what do you find here? This item, now you see the new items which are there. Now in the earlier case, what is the drawback of the earlier system? You remember I told you about 11,000. Now there is 1,000, 1,100 like that. Now that fellow is intelligent. Second item we bought for 10,800 rupees. So when you use the relative size factor, what will happen? It will not come. Okay, using maximum variance factor, this will be found out. Now here you see, the highest price is 1106, the lowest is 16, and you find the variance. Now, was it intentional? What is it we need to investigate, find out? Okay, but we know that this happened. The 110, and then here is 8, and you find the variance, 167. So this is what is called as the maximum variance factor. Okay. Now let's say we have a new function. Let's see here. I got something called a range. I would like to see the pattern here. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to pick up the material code. Okay, and I want to pick up the unit price here. Okay, and I want a spark line for this. Now you see what will happen. What do I get here? At one glance, I'm going to get for each of the items, I'm going to get an overview. Okay, so it means for each of the items, it tells me. In this case, now you see, look at this state. I do not have used the RSF here itself. I can get what the difference. Now this is the power of the analytics. Okay, at one glance, I'm able to find out what are the variances, and also just looking at it, I know this particular item, the price is uniform. There is no changes. How much time did it take to run this function? How much time will it take for you to understand or learn this function? If you have the software, I'm not asking you to this one. I'm just asking you to explore the thinking process. This is what is possible. Can you do this in Excel? It's possible to do in Excel also. Okay. So you have to learn enough macros to be able to do it. So I'm not saying you buy data analytics software. You explore and use technology for the purpose of audit. Okay. Now let's look at further. Now let's say I have got the sales this one transaction. What I'd like to do is I would like to now use a template and do an authorization check. Okay, I have something called an authentication check. I got the sales authorization limit. Now it also gives you, do you want to perform background? I say no. So I got the sales transaction. Now here I pick up the sales authorization limit. Okay, now I say user ID equals, okay, and now here I got sales and I got limit. I want to find out what are the exceptions I want to find out. Sales is greater than limit. Now there are about 6,000 plus 6,666 transactions in the sale, and there are about 12 users in the sales authorization limit. I want to run an authentication limit whether all the transactions have been correctly authorized, and I want to find out the exceptions. Okay, manually whether it's possible in Excel, it's possible in Excel also. What you have to do is you have to use VLOOKUP, join the two tables, bring the authorization limit here, and then you use a filter, and each of them you can pick up. Okay, so it takes a longer time. Whereas in data analytics software, it's much more faster because it's been designed for audit. Excel was not designed for the purpose of audit. It was done for only data processing. Okay, what do I expect? When I click OK, now I should be able to run through all this. Now in a few seconds I get the result, which means I've done 100% authentication check of all the transactions and find out that these are 21 exceptions which are there, and then I can explore further. Okay, so this is what is possible using data analytics. Okay, like that there are more than 300 functions which are there. What I suggest is recently I did a recording, which I told you, for ICAI for about 25-30 functions I have done a demo online. You can check that particular thing, and you can also explore. There could also be online videos where you can explore what are the different things which are possible. So my idea was to just give you an idea about what all is possible using data analytics software. It said that once a American professor went to Japan to give a lecture on quality. The Japanese welcomed, they said yes, you are welcome here, and he agreed for a lecture. They decided to make into groups, and they called all the quality management, and they are sitting in like this, and then American professor decided that they could not understand Japanese, so they got an interpreter who decided how we are going to share the communication. So this fellow first spoke for first 15 minutes. Okay. And he spoke about what are the theories of quality management, how America is using this, all this. And after that he sat down. The Japanese interpreter stood up, spoke for a few seconds, sat down. This fellow, the next 15 minutes I spoke, this fellow spoke only a few seconds. Again this fellow went up, stood up, and then spoke about practical aspects of quality management, what are the steps for quality management, implementation, everything. And then he sat down. This interpreter stood up, spoke for a few seconds, and then sat down. This professor was amazed, what is this fellow doing? What is this Japanese language so powerful that what I speak in 15 minutes he is able to speak in few seconds. Again he stood up and spoke for another 15 minutes on what Japanese can learn from Americans, how American companies are the best in using quality management, adopting best practices, and what the world can learn from quality management from Americans. And he sat down. The Japanese interpreter stood up, spoke for a few seconds, then sat down, and there was thunderous applause, which the American professor never got in his life. He was really amazed. So during the break when they were going out, he called the Japanese system. He said, I got so much of praise, so much of applause. What did you say? How did you translate so quickly? He said, Japanese interpreter said, if you don't get offended, I'll explain to you. He said, tell me. So he said, first when you woke up, you stood up and you spoke 15 minutes. I stood up and said, I think this gentleman is not going to say anything new. He said, this is what he said. See, I'm telling you frankly. He said, he sat down. Then he said, what did you say after this one? After the next 15 minutes? He said, I stood up and said, so far, he said nothing new. Then he sat down and said, what did you say after third? He said, I was right. Let's all give him a thunderous applause. I hope you don't give me applause like that. Okay, so what is important is, these are some fundamental questions which I want to leave you with. The tools and skills which you are using, are they of yesterday or tomorrow? We can't do today's job with yesterday's tools and still be in the business or still be relevant tomorrow. Okay. We can't do today's work with yesterday's skills and tools and expect to remain employed tomorrow. These are some of the questions we need to ask. Now, in the era of artificial intelligence, using audit intelligence, how can you complement? And this is where the beauty is. You should be able to complement human intelligence with artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence using data analytics, and we can all work together. And this gives you some key principles. Auditors, humans can supply the general intelligence, and what other skills machines don't have. Machines still are going to take a long time to evolve. Technology, machines can supply the vast information, computational power, and other specialized capabilities that people don't have. It can process large amount of data and give you the information. Data analytics is where you can use the data, analyze that and come to a conclusion, or it provides insights. This is what is possible. So what are the key thoughts I want to take away? The impact of digital transformation will continue to accelerate. Data analytics and AI are rapidly and dynamically evolving. Complementing HI with data analytics is what is the most important skill, is a critical differentiator. And that's going to be the differentiator for professionals who are going to be computer literate or who are going to be computer illiterate. So this is where I said you need to adopt the Google approach, the Google Maps approach. Data analytics and AI provide the Google Maps for an assurance journey. How? Because they say data is the new oil, but analytics is the engine which powers it. And as CAs, we know how to run the engine, how to make the engines. And we should know how to use the data, harness the power of data. Now you look at Reliance Mukesh Ambani, he just talking about data is the new oil. Okay, now what is he talking about? He is talking about what Google was doing, what Amazon was doing, was getting data. He has provided all this free, all these things. There's nothing free. Behind that, what he's collecting is data. With the data, you can analyze and you can generate a lot of revenue. This is what is possible. Now the question is it time to start the future? So, who is the auditor of the digital age? What are his qualities? And this is what I found some time back, which I picked up. They say he should be vital. What is vital? He should be versatile, he should be involved, he should be technology, advisory, and he should be a leader. So it means you should be able to take a leadership role in AI, DA, ABCD of technology, risk management, etc. Okay? Now when you're using technology, you should know it is always a race. Which means, to be in the same place, you need to keep running. So this is where they say, when you're using, you said you need to send your mind first. So, सोच बदलने की जरूरत है. So this is where they say, सोच बदलो तो सितारे बदल जाएंगे, नजर बदलो तो नजारे बदल जाएंगे. कश्ती बदलने की जरूरत नहीं, दिशा बदलो तो किनारे बदल जाएंगे. So what is important is, we need to change direction. We need to change the perspective. We have all the domain knowledge, etc. What is important is, we need to see how we can change our thinking, adopt technology, be open-minded. Unfortunately, I don't know why, because I also involved CS students also in developing the IT syllabus. Somehow IT seems to be a bottleneck for CS. I think we need to go beyond this and openly embrace technology. Then you find it definitely is much more easier to learn. Now this is the final quote which I want to learn. Long back I remember, Gabbar Singh was there. What was he saying? Gabbar Singh, so he used to say, no, so jayenge to Gabbar Singh aa jayega. Obama, when he was president, used to tell American children, पढ़ लो नहीं तो Indian Chinese बच्चे काम ले जाएंगे तुम्हारा. Okay, so learn, otherwise this fellow will take out the jobs. Now the time has come where you should say, when the machines learn how to run human lives, now it's important for humans to learn how to run the machines. Now we can be the ones who can run the machines with our intelligence. Now whether we let the machines run our lives or we run the machines, it's all the option is ours. Thank you very much. Okay, any questions? I think probably you got any questions, or we can take it up in the panel discussion. Okay. Any feedback? Or how was the session? You remember the 7 parameters you said? Should be thought-provoking, intellectually stimulating, inspiring, and then you said, what is it? Call to action. So that's what finally at the end of it, all hands spend so much time. What I am expecting that some of you will get inspired. Like I said, knowledge is not filling a pail, it's just igniting a spark. So I ignited the interest in most of you are young, you can definitely start exploring the possibility. It should be informative, it should be relevant, it should be practical. I hope it met the parameters. Thank you very much.
Members, big applause to the C. Abdul Rafeq. Like for the Indian Army, the scientist who gave the very innovative idea, that is Abdul Kalam. For the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, this IT subject, here is C. Abdul Rafeq. Big applause to the again C. Abdul Rafeq for handling the session on the first session and started as a good opening batsman, as I believe. On behalf of members present here, on behalf of Managing Committee at Bangalore branch, I'd like to thank C. Abdul Rafeq for spending more than 12 hours for the 1 hour presentation. So I request his university to come forward and present a memento on behalf of the members. Big applause, members. Thank you, sir.
Now you can just imagine opening batsmen are like this. Just imagine what will be the following batsmen. Much more better than me.
Okay, sir. Now we can break for the tea and we can have a one-down batsman here. Babu Jain is waiting.